And I've got a hole like in the bottom of my boxers, and the head of my dick gets caught in it whenever I'm standing up, and it's just fucking uncomfortable. Welcome back for another episode of Trailer Trash Talks Hurricane League Fantasy Talk. As always, I'm your host, Lil Stank. Here with me, guest hosting, Jordan. Okay, good job. You kind of missed that one. I threw that one. I just fucking laid that one up for you. All right. So, yes, Jordan will be guest hosting today. And by the way, douchebag, I tried to get you on this show practically all throughout last year's regular season. Yeah. Practically all throughout last year's regular season. Yeah. You would think you should be one of my easier gets to come on this show, but, you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's why we're starting the season off good. We're starting it off right, fresh, you know, the whole way to here.
Let's make sure we're projecting. Let's use some of that testicular fortitude.
Yeah.
All right. So, starting off, some breaking news today. Justin wants your semen. That's what we found out. Exclusive transcripts obtained by members of this show up here. I'm going to run through it for everybody real quick, just in case you weren't privy to what was going on. By the way, Doge is fucking sucking dick today.
It's time to move on. It's time we picked another stock.
Man, I've been making crazy money off of Doge the last couple of weeks, just buying up here, buying down here, selling like 2.5 cents higher, and then buying again when it drops. Like, I've substantially raised my stake, and then depending on what part of the day, I'm much wealthier in Doge terms than I was, you know. Yeah. But anywho, it's really fucking sucking today. So let's pull up the group. Oh, do you? Oh, wait, I found it. So yes, here we have Justin.
Well, Brian starts off by saying, how we're picking draft orders. That's where it all started. So if anybody's really at fault here, it's Brian.
I'm going to be honest with you, you've already started by framing this in a way which was completely different how I was hoping to frame it. Because my transcript that we received starts out with Justin asking, what do we have here? Sperm donations. Whoever has the strongest swimmers wins. All right, then Brian responded with, something that is hateful and just doesn't have a place here in 2021.
Yeah.
I have to say I don't wholeheartedly disagree with what Brian said, but either way, it doesn't have a place here or in this league.
You know what you did.
I mean, I'm going to be honest about that. We don't use that type of, fuck, dude, it's 2021. So, anyway, he says that, and then Justin responds by, oh, that sweet, sweet sperm, I want all of it. I mean, what the fuck is going on in this league? I got to tell you.
So is that really a hate crime then if he's talking to Justin about it? Or is that fair play?
Well, I guess, honestly, I guess that's a question that only Justin can answer. I can't.
Or Brian.
Well, I mean, you know what? To be fair to Brian, he actually didn't say anything that was particularly derogatory.
I mean, I guess going back over it, it's not.
He actually didn't. He just said it was this.
It's not quite so divisive whenever you get down into it.
It's really not. But it was disturbing what Justin said. I'm not sure I'm comfortable donating my semen to Justin because I am not sure.
I just want to know for what purpose.
In what manner it's going to be used.
Yeah,
Exactly. There needs to be further investigation into this before anybody gives Justin their semen.
Absolutely.
Unless you've already done it, let's hold off on giving him the jizz, okay?
Yeah. Nobody else.
So, did you ever find that date for us? Kickoff?
Yes. Kickoff will be Cowboys-Bucks, September 9th, 7:20 p.m. We got a Thursday night football game, boys.
All right. So September 9th. That means we are, how many days are in what month we're in?
All right, let's get an accurate count here. We are...
I think it's 30, but I think there's one...
It's the 24th. So we've got 30 days of September.
That's what I thought. Wait. August has 31. We're in August.
Has 31.
All right. Fuck. We are really showing our ignorance right here. All right, so go back. I don't know how to make it go back. All right, so go.
Let's do.
You know what? You know what's sad? I guessed. Do you see what number I had written down here?
Yep. 16 days.
So yeah, we're actually 16 days until kickoff, and I pulled that number out of my ass earlier.
Yeah, just so you know, he can predict the future.
Yeah, apparently. So Brian did, however, bring up a good question earlier, which is how we're going to decide the draft order.
Absolutely, that's what I was getting to. Aside from all of the jizz comments, there was some constructive information being thrown around.
Oh! I just realized something. I'm sorry. So the first off-season report of this off-season, I had actually wanted to bring this up, but, well, the first one actually got fucking lost into the ethos because...
What happened?
Well, we had a good solid couple of hours worth of a couple of shows filmed, and they are on film. They have no audio. So if any of you are lip reading experts, maybe we can get a... Yeah. So the first one actually is when I wanted to bring this up. So this season coming up will be the 10th year of the Hurricane League. This is the Hurricane League's 10-year anniversary. I know not all of the current members have been here since day one. That's fine, you know.
It's really irrelevant at this point. The fact that it's lasted this long is, you know.
And I mean...
10 years, everybody.
10 years. That's crazy. Looking at it here, let's see. So it's been, from the very beginning, it's been me, Mitchell, you, Justin, and we are the 4 originals.
Yep.
Brian joined the 2nd year of the league.
Yeah.
He is the next longest member.
I mean, he's practically an honorary member at this point.
Well, he is a member. He's not an honorary member.
I'm saying veteran.
Well, he is a veteran.
But he's been here 9 years. He's not full time.
If you've been in the league 1 year, you're a veteran.
That's not the way I'm looking at it. Anyway.
Yeah, okay. I think the term Jordan is looking for here and struggling is OG. He's saying that Brian may officially be an OG of the league.
Honorary OG.
Honorary OG, okay.
Yeah.
And then we have Blake has been 7 consecutive years. Nick has been 6 years. Dusty has been 4 years now.
Damn, Dusty. I don't understand that one.
Well, in all fairness to Dusty, you didn't realize that because he's been in the league for 4 years. He's been AWOL for, if we added up all together, like 2.5 of those years. And he still made it to the championship game last year.
No. All fucking hats off to Dusty there.
So,
son of a bitch.
Yeah, and then we did have, we had 4 seasons of Johnny mixed in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple
Johnny was
other
still interesting,
one-offs.
by the way. I don't know what, I can't remember what ensued with that necessarily, but if we can fit Johnny in there.
Well, like I said, I'm always interested. Johnny, I enjoyed him being in the league, and if there is an opening, in my mind, he's always been the first one to get that call.
He may or may not be on tour, but he said regardless, I'm down.
All right, so getting into the next part of it.
Yeah.
We brought this up on the previous video as well. Again, but no, let's not dismiss that as easily, though. 10 fucking years. 10 years. That's awesome. Just to bring it up, though, because I thought this was interesting as well. You know, out of those 10 seasons,
we got some statistics.
Out of the 9 seasons that have been played so far, how many times do you think you've made the playoffs?
2.
Come on, bro. You're selling yourself short. You've gone to the playoffs 4 times. 3 times you have been a first-round exit. One time you did go 1-0-1, and had we had the decimal score, you would have been a champion. But since we didn't, and you cannot manage one more fucking point in your championship matchup.
What do you want from me?
A point! 1 point!
I put my shit on the table, alright? You know? I set a lineup, I fucking clicked enter just like everybody else. And that same argument you made for fucking Mitchell, because he scored the exact same amount.
Oh, Mitchell shit the bed. He had a dominating lead after week 1, and then he fucking just gave it up.
Well, what do you want from me?
Gave it up like fucking Biden gave up Afghanistan.
Woo!
Oh! No. We don't get political on this show.
No. Absolutely not. Fucking Biden.
Hey. That's the commander-in-chief, all right? All right, you don't say that about the man that commands the most mighty military.
Yeah.
Anyway, how many times do you think I've been in the playoffs?
7. 6.
6. Yeah, 6. All right, so let's have a couple other fun ones. How many times out of the 9 seasons do you think that Mitchell has been in the playoffs?
4.
Exactly right. He has been in the playoffs the same number of times as you. Coincidentally enough, you both have the same playoff record. You are both 1-3-1 all time in the playoffs. Now, just to clarify, if you lose in the first round, I don't give a fuck if you win your second round matchup or not when you're playing for 3-4.
Are you not looking at that at all?
No, I'm not looking at that. If you lose week 1, I'm not looking at your second matchup. You're 0-1 for that season in the playoffs because that's how it works in the real world. You lose in the playoffs, you're out. I don't care if you fucking win the meaningless game. That doesn't go on your record, you know?
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Y'all are both 1-3-1. Or if we had decimal scoring, he would be 1-4. You would be 2-2 with the championship. Just to restate.
Yeah, it'd be fucking nice, but since it took 7 fucking years to do decimal scoring, like.
So, Justin.
Yeah, we're just gonna mull right over. Yeah.
How many times has Justin been in the playoffs?
2.
3, actually. 3, and Justin has a record of 2-2. So just to clarify, Justin has a better playoff record than both you and Mitchell. Oh yeah, he has a championship as well. I know that's hard to believe, and everyone forgets that year because I don't know what the fuck happened, but Justin does.
I don't remember what year that was.
I don't either.
It's like it didn't happen.
I think a lot of the league was drunk or stoned off their asses that year. That's all I can say.
Because I can't even talk to anybody else about it. I just have no clue. They're like, what?
I honestly, I either forgot or just didn't realize for years until Justin brought up one
clarification
day.
That
we can here. But yeah, Justin brought up one day. He's like, yeah, I'm a champion. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And yeah, he is.
Well, you know what, man? I'm willing to take those numbers fucking right on the chin, you know? It is what it is. Like, that's what we've come to. And I'd hate to think that I'm somehow less adequate than some of the people in this league. But you know what? It's time for a new fucking season here.
Unbelievably, 2016... with a 7-5-1 record,
well, I'll fucking be
scoring the third least points in the entire league.
3-10 that year.
Wow.
Johnny lost. He was 10-3.
Wow. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Johnny played for 4 at a 10-3 record.
I can almost guarantee you why Justin won that year. That was the year we had this sackless douchebag, Mr. Scuderi in the league. it weren't for him and his 4-9 record, somebody might have, gee, that's unbelievable. Justin won a championship. So yeah, he's 2-2. Sadly,
least amount of points scored.
Well, no, the third least.
Oh,
who? You? You might have scored the least.
No.
No, you scored more than Justin did.
I scored the most.
Blake
No,
and
that's you.
Blake and Nick have both been in the playoffs 3 times. Blake won 2 championships back-to-back, got booted in the first round, and then has missed the playoffs for 4 consecutive years now. Nick, this past year, made the playoffs for just the 3rd time and has a lifetime playoff record of 0-3 for a 0% win percentage in the playoffs. Great job, Nick.
Sorry about that arm, bud.
Blake, however, is shockingly 4-1 at an 80% win clip in the playoffs. Now, he doesn't make it very often, in the last several years, but 4-1, which is the best playoff win percentage of any active member of this league. I mean,
and fucking play. Blake's in it.
Now, the problem is getting his team to the clutch because he's been drafting the Seahawks defense in the 5th round every year for the last 7 years.
I'm going to leave it there for you, bud.
Then we have, sadly, Brian. All right, so Brian has been in this league for 8 seasons.
Right.
You want to guess how many times he's made the playoffs?
7.
6. He has missed the playoffs 2 years in a row in a sign of his steep and rapid decline. But yes, 6 out of his 8 years he has been in the playoffs. You know what his win clip is? 70%. He is 7-3 in the playoffs.
Oh, bitch.
Yep. Sad to say it, but yes, he is.
It's rough. Numbers don't lie.
And then let's see, Dusty. So he's been in the league 4 years. He's been in the playoffs twice, in the championship once. He is 1-2 in the playoffs. It's respectable. So yeah, this 10th year of the league, I'm looking forward to. We need to do something as far as the draft to liven it up. I feel like I do like the idea, where y'all were coming from earlier. I don't like the actual ideas that were coming from that idea.
No, the enthusiasm's great.
No, yeah, love the enthusiasm. Let's just, not be so dumb, I guess.
I'm not going to drop that G word that Brian said earlier.
No, sir. That's not what we do here.
Absolutely not.
And actually, you were getting on something before I brought up the 10-year anniversary. You remember what that was?
What was that?
I don't know. That's why I was asking you. Good job. All right. This is the type of quality hosting they have come to expect from this program. All right. So I do want to bring up again a couple of rule change ideas that were presented in the last episode.
Yes. If we can make this kind of concrete with videos, that way we have audio and picture evidence of this, that would actually be for the best.
Now, quick question. Did you watch the last video?
Not all of it, no.
Do you know what the rule change discussions were? If I'm being honest, I really only remember one of them.
Do we need to pull the video up?
Oh, shit. I don't know where in the video that would have been.
I feel like it's kind of necessary. If we're about to do rule discussion here, kind of need to know what was discussed first.
Well, one that I do remember.
I'm going to write this down.
So, we've been living with a little bit of controversy in this league because of what took place during the shit bowl playoffs last year.
That was a bit controversial.
For those of you that don't remember, Brian accidentally dropped, I don't even remember who it was, to be honest with you.
It was not a droppable person.
I believe it was Mr. Kamara, from the Saints.
That sounds familiar.
So Blake picks him up. Blake avoids getting his taint waxed.
Right. Of course, he did get maced, but that's irrelevant.
He should have. I mean, if we're looking at it and being honest, he probably should have been maced and taint waxed.
I wouldn't have been opposed to it.
But alas, that's not what happened because Alvin Kamara was on the waiver wire. Blake did pick him up. Blake did get a monster, like, fucking 6 touchdown game or some shit out of him.
Yep.
So there's no real clear way because honestly, when I look at it, Brian didn't necessarily violate. He didn't violate any rules. He violated no rules.
By all standards, he didn't break any rules.
If we're taking him by his word, which we have no reason not to,
don't have any other proof.
We have no reason not to take him at his word. He's been an honest fella as long as we've known him. It was an accident. So it wasn't as though he had any malicious intent. It wasn't as though he was trying, that he saw that Blake was first on the waiver wire and was trying to hurt Justin.
There's no way, unless there was some type of collusion.
And
I'm throwing that word around here loosely.
We've seen in the real world in the last couple of years, collusion is rather difficult to prove.
It really is. So that's a big hypothetical. If they were, in fact, in some type of collusion, I'm not saying that they were or you are, but that would be a, definitive way to prove this.
It would be. But again, we have no proof, and I have no reason to even think that is the case.
Not at all.
Again, I trust Brian at his word.
Absolutely.
He's an honest guy.
Look at him.
So, exactly, look at him. So, there's not a real clear and easy way to penalize a team doing this because it absolutely could be a mistake.
Absolutely. But going forward, is this something that we may want to prevent? Whether it be intentional or unintentional, maybe some type of buffer where you can no longer drop people going into the playoffs?
This is something that we would like to prevent. Now, the question is, how do you prevent such a thing from happening? My idea, Brian had suggested once again the idea of doing a pay-to-play. My initial response is that, well, I'm still waiting on the pay from 4 people, including someone that is co-hosting today from the original payment session.
What?
Well, I put in $15 for you initially, and I never got that back from you. So you were paid, but you never paid.
Oh.
You?
Shit, I didn't
Mitchell,
know that.
You, Mitchell, Dusty, Nick. Dusty did make an effort. At the time, I was not up on technology. So, not holding that against Dusty. He also looks like an honest fella.
Absolutely. All right, so pay to play is
not something initially I was interested in because we have some, untrustworthy, let's change the way we remember shit type motherfuckers in this league.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not everybody.
No.
And nobody in particular.
Absolutely not.
But then I had an idea. What if we do a pay-to-play league?
Right.
And then, let's say the final 4 weeks of the season, or the playoffs. For the playoffs, we tally the points scored. The team that scores the most points during that 4-week playoff period wins the money, wins the pot, wins the payout. Everybody has a reason to play, a reason to stay engaged during the playoffs in this scenario. Everybody has every reason to score as many points possible for the final 4 weeks, no matter what their, the people in the first and second place game and the 7th and 8th place game are going to be playing. Yeah. Those other 2 games have no reason to play. And therefore have reason to dump valuable players to try and fuck over Justin when he is in the shitbowl again this year.
Right.
So
that's actually a pretty sound fucking idea.
That's what I thought.
Based on our pay-to-play model.
If people watched these fucking videos that our team up here strives and works so hard to do, we could have had this discussion been ongoing for a while now. All right? That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
Fucking every now and then I fall apart, and I need you now tonight. Fucking need you more than ever. If you're lonely, hold me tight. We'll be holding on forever, and we'll only be making it right.
What you mean? What kind of model are we looking at?
I mean, if we're not going to do pay-to-play, then...
Oh, if we don't do the pay-to-play, then I have no idea how to stop the rampant cheating and collusion that goes on in this league. Hey, welcome back. All right, so to finish up this show, I thought maybe we'd preview the bottom two leagues in the winning side of the bracket, since we did the loser side last week, or last show, rather. So this past year, our two bottom of the winner side of the bracket people were these two pieces of shit. All right, okay, Nick and Mitchell.
What?
So we'll go ahead and start. What did we do last week? Fuck, I don't remember. All right, well, let's start with Mitchell, this fat piece of shit.
Hey, Mitchell.
All right, so Mitchell, again, great, respectable guy. We all love him. We respect him a ton.
Absolutely.
We admire his prowess at being able to determine if people are in the playoffs or not and making them have false senses of hope. In all honesty, the more I've thought about that, even if it probably was just Mitchell, having some dumbassery and missing that scenario altogether. In my mind, I would like to believe that Mitchell did that on purpose, though, to lull Justin into that false sense of security, and then just watch over that week as it deteriorated. And in the ensuing weeks, Justin's worst dreams just came to fruition. Yeah. He sucks yet again. This isn't about Justin. This is about Mitchell.
Yeah.
So he finished last year 9-4 in the regular season. And if you all remember, he was on this show more than once.
Yeah.
Pretty proud of his team's performance. He did finish best in the regular season. He did finish with the most points in the regular season. But let's see what happened in the playoffs.
Can we get a little recap of that?
I think we can. Final play results, maybe?
Okay, so...
Let's see, week 1. BAM! 50 points! He chokes in the first fucking round after all of the talk that he did all season long. Unbelievable. I want to show you. He was so proud of last season and of his team. I found earlier the piece of paper that he had used to give Justin that false sense of security.
Oh. You have documents?
It made me laugh pretty good. But my favorite part... Fuck, where is it at? Motherfucker. Alright. I guess it's not this fucking notebook. Alright.
The information will be sent to the group.
So, the best part, I thought, was he went through and it looked really official. I'm going to give him... Oh, shit! Here it is.
Mm.
So, let me walk this up to the camera just to see if you can see...
Back it out a little.
There we go. So, you see in the West where he has all the symbols. He wrote Y next to his name and wanted to make sure that he pointed out. Huh?
I'm seeing a grid over here.
Grid?
Yeah, on the actual camera.
Oh, yeah. That's just the autofocus feature.
Gotcha.
But, okay. So, if you will notice, however, let's let it focus back in here. Oh, come on. There we go. West, Y. Mitchell, Y. clinched 1 seed. He was so fucking proud of his team last year, and it was almost sad to see him just, choke that all up the way that he did. I mean, we talked about Justin's historic, catastrophic, just collapse.
Yeah.
I think Mitchell one-upped him here, man. Mitchell one-upped him.
Really?
Coming into the playoffs at 9-4, the most points scored in the regular season.
That's pretty dominant.
And then laying a fucking egg against the 4 seed? The 4 seed? I don't know, man. I think this might have been Mitchell's last chance before that window closes.
Then so.
Let's think. A couple years ago, his team was good enough to make it to the championship round. And then he couldn't finish it.
Mm.
This year, he returned to the playoffs and, obviously didn't make it to the championship round because I didn't see him there. And I don't know. You got to wonder. Teams have a finite window.
Yeah.
Teams that aren't mine and haven't been in the playoffs since the beginning of this league and still continue to be. Most teams have a window. You just have to wonder if the last responders might have missed that window. Might have missed that window.
So this is it closing then.
It might. Well, let's think about what this team is going to look like next season. It's probably going to have a combination of either Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill at quarterback.
Oh, yeah, I've got some talking points earlier going over that information, actually.
Probably still going to be fielding Michael Thomas as their number 1 receiver.
Right.
Now, I'm going to give Mitchell the benefit of the doubt. He's probably not going to take him in, round 2 or some shit. But knowing Mitchell and knowing Nick, and knowing that Nick would jump on him, Mitchell will probably take him in round 3. Because Nick will take him in round 4. Mitchell doesn't. I don't know, man. Knowing his history, what he's done throughout the first 9 years in the league.
Right. We do have some statistical data to back this up.
I'm going to guess that he's not going to totally shit the bed, but he's going to turn in. Now, let's keep in mind this. I'm not sure how we're going to work it out in fantasy, but this is our first 17-week regular season.
Right.
Or, 18-week regular season, 17 games. So, I don't know if that's going to be added to the playoffs, or the regular season. I'm going to guess Mitchell, though. Let's go ahead and assume that we're going to have 14 regular season games next year. I'm thinking Mitchell's going to come in 7-7. He's going to follow up this disappointing year. Follow up this disappointing year with a disappointing season. Now, next is Nick. Now, this little motherfucker, he's always been a hard one to crack, because, again, last year, his team was absolute hot dog shit, but he was respectable. He finished 7-6, But, he constantly would roll out a subpar team, and to give Nick credit, he obviously got the best out of him, but Jesus, yeah, I don't really know what to say about this sack of shit, about this dude,
Me and Nick had some wars last year.
Yeah.
Well, I always had good games, so I can't be upset with it.
What did you finish last year, 5-8?
Yeah, not great.
Okay. So, yeah, he went against me in the playoffs.
We really analyzed my games last year. It's some shit, all right?
I analyzed them pretty well. You had 8 L's. That's pretty much as deep as the analysis went. So Nick had a decent week 1 of this matchup, and then kind of again shit the bed in week 2, and I ran away with it. But give him credit; he wasn't as much of a complete and total failure and embarrassment as Mitchell was in his matchup.
Right.
Nick was the 2nd seed. I was the 3rd seed. However, that's obviously not as bad as being a 1 and getting beat by a 4.
Right.
But all that being said, Nick still fucking choked. I mean, he could have won with his subpar team the way he'd been playing, but he fucking choked when it came down to it, and that's what I'm seeing again from him this season. Nick is one of these try-hards, but never really play hard. What can you say about the dude? He's made it to the playoffs.
No bite, huh?
He's made it to the playoffs 3 times. No, he's got bark and bite. He's just not very good. He's made it to the playoffs 3 times. 3 times. And in those 3 playoff visits, he's got 0 victories. I'm thinking
That's tough to eat, man. That's rough.
Nick next year is going to come in. He's going to start off shit in the bed. He's going to finish, I don't know, 5-9.
Think so.
He's going to avoid the shit bowl, but not by much.
It's just going to be just there.
Well, I mean, he's going to have a couple of wins. He's going to beat you once. He's going to beat Justin. He's going to get a win on Brian. And he's going to beat Blake twice.
You calling it?
I mean, that's going to be his 5 wins. Then he's going to be fucking cannon fodder for the rest of us,
And by us, you mean you?
Me mostly.
Yeah.
Me mostly. But there are some good teams fielded in this league every now and then.
Right.
Every now and then. Yeah. So let's see. That would leave us then 4 teams to preview. And we have 16 days to go.
So what about you? Should I preview you?
Oh, no. I'm saving that for last.
Naturally. I tried to get it out of the way.
No, that's the finale. So I'm thinking we're probably going to try and do 2 more videos, but we have 16 days until. I mean, if I'm being honest, that's going to be a tall order because it might take 2 days for this video to get put out. That leaves us 2 weeks to schedule a draft.
2 days to fucking process?
No, it doesn't take 2 days to process. No, it doesn't take that long. It takes me that long.
Oh my god. Just do it after we get done.
Yeah, but I don't want to. Like, I really hate the process of editing and doing all this other shit. Because, like I told you earlier, if we had an interface that got all this shit together, recorded it through one.
Sync all the audio together?
Yeah, it's kind of a pain. It's really not, but I like the bits about it. Yeah. Put it off.
All right, so what are we moving on to here?
What you got?
Few things. So we'll get
going
right to it.
Enjoy my genuine Turkish tobacco product while you speak.
Absolutely. So we got Jameis, right? Do we think he's going to start? Is he the guy coming into week 1?
I assume by Jameis you're referring to Jameis Winston.
Winston, yes.
For the New Orleans
Winston
Saints.
variety, yes. You spoke
Mr.
about
Crab Legs.
Right, we spoke about him in the case of Mitchell and Dustin there, Is he the guy?
He should be the guy. He should be the guy. But Sean Payton...
There's no clear cut right now. There's talk that he may be. There's talk that he isn't.
Well, what that says to me is that your offensive guru, genius head coach, Sean Payton, has his head up his ass. I mean,
the report I read doesn't put him as the clear-cut guy. So, who else do they have there? What's the number? What's the guy that they're putting him against?
Taysom Hill.
But is he really the guy that you want being your quarterback all year long?
No, he's not. He's a slightly better Tim Tebow. He's a slightly better Tim Tebow. He has a better throwing motion, but he also cannot read defenses. He is a reactionary quarterback.
Right.
He can't decide where somebody's going to be and put the fucking ball there. He has to be like, oh, he's running down there. I mean...
My whole point is why are we actually having this conversation then?
Because Sean Payton is a genius if he takes the Mormon Tim Tebow and makes him a real quarterback. He made this bullshit statement a couple of seasons ago that he's just as good as fucking Steve Young. Like, come on. Nobody fucking believes that shit, especially since we saw him start 4 games last year. He doesn't look like a fucking quarterback at the NFL level. I mean, his best asset is the fact that he can do a little bit of everything decent. But if we're honest, he's not a number 1 at any position on the football team.
That's ultimately what I was getting at, is the lack of confidence seems kind of weird, to be honest.
Kind of makes me wonder if Sean Payton's a fucking racist. All right, I'm going to just go out there and be the one to question it, okay? Jameis Winston is obviously the better quarterback. Obviously.
I would dare say, yeah.
And let's not overlook the fact that he had LASIK eye surgery done before last offseason. This motherfucker's been playing blind for his first 4 or 5 years and still has thrown 5. He's been amazing.
Really? LASIK eyes? Man, everybody gets better after LASIK.
That's right. I don't know what history we have to back that up, but you would assume that if he can see now, he's not going to throw 30 interceptions.
I would have to assume. So I'm saying Jameis clear cut number 1.
He should be.
I don't know why he should be. Conversation. Getting off to another topic here. I've got how the fuck do you even pronounce that? Because I don't know how to pronounce that.
That Jags running back they took from fucking Clemson, Etienne or whatever his name is.
IR injured. Boom.
Oh, what happened?
I'm not sure. Season-ending IR injury though.
Damn. Well, that's also going to be a hit to Mr. Trevor Lawrence, the rookie quarterback.
Yep.
I think they took the running back as almost a, hey, here's somebody you know. That's somebody you played at college with. And now he's gone.
Yep. His friend, his compatriot, he's out there all alone now.
I mean, from a team standpoint, they had a pretty decent running back last year. I don't even remember his name. He kind of came from out of nowhere and had a pretty solid season. But wow, no, I had no idea about that.
Right. Next up, I've got, let's see, Andy Dalton is going to be started for the Bears over his compatriot Fields.
That makes perfect sense to me.
I don't see why you wouldn't take the more experienced guy out there anyhow.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to put your rookie, especially if you got high hopes for him. Let's face it, that Bears offense ain't doing. The Bears aren't going anywhere probably until Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are gone.
Right. Either way, your boy Fields has got time to learn behind a senior quarterback, which I feel like is a better position.
Although you do have to wonder, if Andy Dalton is necessarily the guy you want tutoring your, future of your franchise. Nothing against Andy Dalton.
There's wisdom.
Red Rockets never really torn up the league before,
No. And Joe Flacco is also a fucking MVP quarterback. So what are we really talking about?
He's a Super Bowl MVP, not an MVP.
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, which is still hard to believe, but that's. Now, like I said, I think it's the smart choice to start Dalton, but they're gonna suck, and by week 8 to 10, Fields will be in there. I don't think Dalton gets through the season.
I don't believe he makes it through the season either, to be honest with you. I think that's why they're starting Dalton early while he's fresh. And he's got good legs. They'll get him in while he can, and then they'll put Fields in later.
I did see at the preseason game the other day, the fans were booing Andy Dalton when he came back out for another series and chanting for Justin Fields.
That's rough. Last up on quarterbacks here. Carson Wentz. Is he going to make the week 1 start?
Now, it was a foot injury, and the last I heard was they were expecting him to be cleared and back playing within a couple of weeks before the season started. Has that changed?
Up to what I had read, he's looking healthy. He's feeling good. And there's the conversation in the air that they're going to put him week 1.
I mean, if he's healthy, then yeah, he should start because he's gonna be playing for can't remember the coach's name, but he's gonna be Reich, whatever, something Reich, Mark Reich, Andy Reich, Ted Reich,
Yeah, Tom. Right.
One of those. So he's playing for a coach that he played for in Philly, and the story has got the best of him in Philly, got him to perform at his peak. So the idea was they were going to have a reunion. He was magically going to fix Carson Wentz since Nick Foles destroyed him by winning the Super Bowl with his team.
Yeah, no, that absolutely destroyed his confidence. I think that's clear to anyone who's really seen him. Because, I mean, let's be honest, it's pretty fucking upsetting. Like, not being able to take the boys to the show.
He fucking cucked Nick Foles in the most extreme manner that could have been conceived. It was brutal. Or, I'm sorry, Nick Foles cucked Carson Wentz. And I don't know. You almost feel bad for him.
That's
I mean, because he's had injury after injury. This is supposedly something that happened in high school and just never was an issue until all of a sudden now it popped up. You kind of feel bad for the dude, especially after. I mean, what happened with him at the end of Philly was fucked up.
It was a lot of shit. I mean, they just put him on the bench. They told him. What did they get rid of him for? It was like fucking nothing. Like he wasn't even there.
Yeah, I don't know what they got in return. I'm sure it was some conditional thing if he plays X amount or reaches these or
either
some
way,
shit like that.
Is he at that point in time? Was he a conditional quarterback?
I mean, people had questions about his physical and mental makeup, and I think those questions still exist. And the physical part, at least, isn't being helped by the fact that his footsie got hurt.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Moving on with him. Final quarterback note. Cam being out on COVID protocol. How does that look for Mac Jones? I mean, he's got the time to spend, training. He's going to be in there practicing. Say he looks good. What's he going to be out? 2 weeks for COVID protocol? How does that work now?
Well, what I understand is he's supposed to be back in a few days because he didn't test positive, is what I had last read.
He just didn't do their test.
But then so it's going to be a few days, is what I read. But it's not supposed to be some super prolonged thing. This apparently, I was reading earlier, means that Cam isn't vaccinated, which automatically is a huge story, blah, blah, blah. I mean, and I guess my only thought on that, on a personal level, sure, I can understand him having thoughts and wanting to think that they're in a selfish way, though. Like, if I'm the team, it's like, dude, you missed a game or two last year because of COVID, and then we're never the same following your return.
Yep.
Have to wonder if it's because of that. So, yeah, in a selfish way, if they're on my sports team, yeah, you better fucking get vaccinated, motherfucker. Like, we don't want to lose because of you.
Don't want to lose you. I mean, at the same time.
Yeah, although they have had a couple of players in this off-season, preseason that have been vaccinated that have tested positive.
Wow, that's a whole other thing that we don't get into on this show. So.
Just like we had Chris Paul in the playoffs tested positive and missed some time despite being vaccinated.
Right.
So it's still, I guess that could be Cam's answer, is being vaccinated doesn't mean I'm not going to fucking miss time or miss games. So, yeah.
I mean, are they forced to at this point?
The players aren't, but they have to abide by a different set of rules if they're not vaccinated. They can't eat together. They have to keep masks on at all times.
Wow. I mean, shit. I didn't realize it was all that.
Yeah, they have to do the exact same protocols as what they did all of last year if they're not vaccinated.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but there's been a surprising amount that apparently haven't done that. I would have thought it honestly would have been higher. All right. So to start to wrap up this winding episode, we still need to cement a date, location, all of those good things for the draft that is rapidly since the season is rapidly approaching. Anyone has any suggestions, wants to throw something out, again, feel free to enter it into the group text, and we'll respond and shit. We also need to have a quorum as far as going over these potential rule changes.
Did you have a second rule change?
Well, the first rule proposal would have been the pay to play, and then I kind of incorporated that into the second rule proposal, which was the pay to play being tied to the final 4 weeks of the...
Right, which I have that written down.
All right, good job.
For actual concrete proof here. That is being submitted then, I would guess, yes?
Again, I have offered this up once already. It's about to get to the point where I am going to, let's see, get 3 other people to just respond yes through text message, and then 5 of us who represent a majority of the league.
I'm fine with doing majority vote. I have no issue doing that, as long as the vote is presented and everyone is able to take part, which works with our group chat. Presented at a relative time during the day. Everybody's there.
Either that, or I might name a 4-person rules committee if nobody responds, and all we would need then would be a 3-person majority of the rules committee to submit a vote. So I could very selectively handpick that 4-person.
I mean, you're commish, so ultimately.
But like I said, I don't want to do that.
Our opinions have a matter in here, but
that's what I'm saying. I want this to be a fair league where everyone has a voice.
Absolutely.
Everyone is heard.
Absolutely.
We all have an opinion.
Totally.
This is a safe space. So, like I said, we need to, I guess, have a little bit of communication and figure out what the fuck is going on.
To get with each other, we'll figure this out.
But not in the way that Justin has suggested earlier.
Less semen.
No. Far less semen.
Far less semen.
All right. Well, I think that's going to be about it for tonight. Again, to recap what we went over today, rule changes, pay to play, last 4 weeks actually matter.
We're not dropping players.
Justin wants all of your semen.
And/or feces.
And/or feces. We reviewed 2 teams who literally are a bag of semen and feces. That would be Mitchell and Nick.
Gotcha.
And then we pleaded for you all to respond to us so that we can figure out how the fuck this draft is going to happen before the kickoff.
Absolutely.
All right.
We figured that out. As stated before, September 9th, Thursday night football, Cowboys, Bucks. We have until then to figure this the fuck out.
All right. Well, let's get the brain trust rolling, and again, let's be in contact. Let's get this figured out, and I'm ready to start the repeat. Thank you all for watching.
Absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed my guest host today.
Yeah.
And want to wish you all a great big suck my dick.
Take care, fuckers.